Welcome to Is This for Kids? I'm Jonathan Bearded Blevins, father of 3, and I think that most media marketed to kids is not worth watching.
And I'm Katie. I'm a mom of 5. I think you can redeem most of the media that's out there, but for our purposes here on this podcast, we are trying to tell parents what's out there so they know what they need to shield their kids from, for things that they definitely don't want their kids to see, what they can shepherd them through for the things that are going to be unavoidable in the world. Their kids are going to have to face it, and also how they can share in this really very influential part of their kids' lives. And we're looking at a social media-ish platform this time, right?
Yeah, we are. And instead of spending time on this platform, go touch grass.
Which platform is that?
Twitch.
That's right. We're talking about Twitch. John and I are both, well, I'm a former Twitch streamer. John is a current partnered Twitch streamer, right?
Yeah, I stream content full time.
So I am no longer a Twitch streamer. Just like full disclosure, I had to stop doing it about a year ago. So here we are.
All these people who are watching, most of them are familiar with Twitch. Some are like, what are they talking about? Like, what, that kind of a Twitch? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, no.
Twitch is a social media platform, a live streaming platform formerly known as Justin TV.
Literally no one knows that.
And now it's been bought by Amazon. It's currently not making a ton of money for them, but there are millions of users, almost as many people creating content on the platform, which is part of the problem. It costs a lot of money to have all those people be able to stream on your platform. And it's where it used to be a place where you could stream video games and has since become a live streaming in general site. It is not like YouTube where you can upload a bunch of heavily edited content. It is all live content, and you can stream, if you have a camera and the internet, you can stream almost whatever you want on there.
That's right.
There are some restrictions, but not many. You can do cooking shows, you can stream video games, just chatting, sports podcasts, regular podcasts, you name it. And that is where I spend 30 to 35 hours a week live streaming content.
Yeah, you mostly do video games, right?
Yeah, I would say that the video game is secondary to the conversation we're having on stream. But yeah, I'll be streaming video games or of a sports show. You know, real quick, there are some basic rules about Twitch. So technically, in order to have an account, you're supposed to be 13 years old. So Twitch itself is saying we're not for kids under the age of 13. However, a lot of kids are smart enough to lie about their age and can create accounts. A lot of parents are not smart enough to know that their kids are using their accounts. Whether or not Twitch itself, twitch.tv, is for kids is a good conversation for us to have today.
I did a cooking show on Twitch for 5 years. I was, still am a partnered streamer, so I've got a little purple check mark next to my name. And I was even on the main stage at TwitchCon, which is like the big convention. I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like. So it's not that I was little time into this community. It's not that I gave up my stream with very little thought. It was a very conscious decision for me. I was only ever part-time, but I'm a housewife, so like I wasn't supporting a family on it or anything like that. But when you said that, like, I do video gaming, but it's secondary to the conversation, I would say that that's true for a lot of Twitch, right? A lot of the content, unless you're a very, very good video gamer.
Yeah, like a pro.
Like a pro. Most people are not watching you for what you're doing. So I cook, but I'm not like the greatest cook on Twitch. I used to say, I'm not the best cook on Twitch. I'm the cook on Twitch that loves you the most. So, and it's all about community and building communities and being able to talk to people. And from that aspect, it is incredible, the types of communities that can be built, but it is very much dependent upon the streamer and the type of community that they built. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree 100%. And you might be listening to this and being like, community online, no way. I used to think that too. My brother, Tyler Ninja Blevins, is one of the biggest streamers of all time. He kind of pioneered live streaming, went over to Mixer and had a record-breaking deal with Mixer, which was owned by Microsoft at the time, that was trying to compete in this space. Facebook Gaming tried to compete in this space. YouTube's in the space. Instagram, Twitter. Now everyone's kind of trying to vie for this. There's Rumble, all different ways you can do this, right? And I used to laugh in my brother's face when I had no idea really what Twitch was, when he would say things like, I can't do this thing because I have to go live because I haven't seen my community in a while. And I was like, community? Like what? They're not like, we're your community. You don't have an online, community. And I could not have been more wrong. I've made some of the best friends of my life, met them on Twitch years ago. I know you have incredible stories about community. So it really is a place where, if curated correctly, you can have a good, loving, wholesome community of people who rely on each other for different things. And it's not as weird as it sounds.
Yeah. If curated correctly is really the big catching point for me here. So when we're talking about whether or not Twitch is appropriate for kids, what are some things that people need to shield their kids from on Twitch?
Yeah, I think that there's really two things as a parent for us to think about when it comes to Twitch. So the first is, who is my kid watching? What content is my kid consuming when they're on the website? Because it is super easy to find inappropriate content. The For You recommended page might have the content that's not for kids. and to the credit of the streamer, like that's okay, right? It's not every streamer's job to be appropriate for kids. You know who your intended audience is, and it's up to parents to shield their kids from content creators they don't want their kids watching. There's hot tub and pool streams they could go find. There's gambling streams they could go find. There's prank streams, and there's streamers that use horrible language. There's streamers that talk about things you might not want your kids hearing when it comes to politics, or I mean all kinds of stuff. So the first is to know who your kid is watching, and it really is worth the time to like vet those people, and it's gonna take time. You just not like, I'll use myself as an example here. My stream is not for kids. It's mostly family friendly. I don't usually swear on there, but every once in a while we'll talk about sports betting. I'll talk about having drinks on the weekend, or every once in a while I'll stream at night and have some drinks. Like that is not, I'm not marketing my stream to kids at all. And so it's parents' job to like be in my stream, and I would say it takes a good 2 to 5 hours of time that you're watching as a parent, whoever your kid wants to watch on Twitch, to find out who that person really is and whether or not you think it's someone that your kid should be watching. Because not only is the streamer going to say certain things, but then there's the chat that you have to worry about, which is like what all the people in there are saying. Because you might have the most wholesome streamer in the world, but the toxic chat, and that's like a whole nother thing. So who is your kid watching? Is that who you want them to be watching? And what is the chat like in that community? OMG, who cares? Oh, women. I can't imagine how horrible your lives are. Get a hobby. Get a life. You're a white woman. You have no sex.
I'm a grown woman. These comments on Instagram do not bother me, but your kids shouldn't have to deal with this. That's where Bark comes in. Silence that noise. Bark can help you to cut off the apps, the scary language, and it'll let you know if any bullying like this is happening to your kid online. Get the Bark phone or the Bark app. You'll like it. My community has always been very wholesome. I did a cooking show. I don't swear as a person. It wasn't violent. It was a cooking show. My kids were in the kitchen. My house is very small. Like you could see my kids and my husband walking through the kitchen all the time. If you Google me right now, you will likely find clips. My son makes fun of me because I said Philip DeFranco was handsome. And he says, "You have a husband." And everybody thought it was super funny. And it got clipped. There was millions of views on it. Someone came into my chat while my then 11-year-old daughter was on the screen with me and said, "Don't I know you from porn?" to me. He's talking to me in the chat. And because I'm the kind of person that feels the need to take everything as a teaching moment, I was like, "Hey, buddy, have more respect for yourself. She's only 11, and also watching pornography is bad for you. Okay. And then there's a beat, and my daughter says, What's pornography?" And that clip went viral. Like everybody saw that clip of my daughter, to the point that I had to stop streaming when my kids were home, because my kids were like, people at school are finding videos of me online. And then eventually, there was nothing bad in it, but eventually it got embarrassing for them. So I stopped streaming while they were home at first, and then had to give it up completely. Because another thing that you were talking about, it is very much just a window into the world, the entire world. Anybody with a camera can do anything. So Twitch will recommend videos to you based on the things that you watch, recommend streamers to you based on what you watch. And if you watched me, you would often get recommendations of people who do just chatting streams where they just sit around and talk, or other cooking streams. However, just chatting in the last few years has kind of changed gears to the point that a lot of the women are not wearing clothes. The rules on Twitch just say that you have to have your nipples covered. So they would just have pasties on, and then they would be a body painting streamer. So they would paint a little heart on their shoulder. So for me,
I thought pasties were like a food.
No, that's pasties.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
But like, this was the thing that was getting recommended to people who watch me. And so that means when they watch that, they're getting recommended me. And so they're coming into my channel with my children around, and my wholesome chat, and saying absolutely appalling things. So when a competitor streaming service came out called Kick that had very few limitations, Twitch started relaxing how much it enforced its terms of service. And that led to more and more toxic communities. So that was what led me to get off of Twitch. Between that and my house got swatted. So
yeah. That's a whole nother horrible thing.
Whole other thing.
Yeah. The second thing for parents to know is it's really important to know like what your kid is saying online. whether or not you're allowing them to chat. And not that you have to watch everything they say, but like you should know if they have an account, what that account is, and like make sure that they understand the responsibility that comes with that, because those chats save forever. And I will tell you, I've been streaming for thousands and thousands of hours over the last few years, and it is the easiest thing in the world to tell when a kid has a phone, created the account, or is using mom and dad's account.
Yep.
It is the easiest. There's misspelling, so you're fat, and fat is spelled F-A-T-E. Like so many things where I'm just like, Johnny, give mom her iPad back. You're not using it appropriately at the moment. And it's so funny the reactions I get when I say that, and they're like, how did you know that I'm on my mom's phone? And it's like, dude, like she's probably getting ready, trying her best to raise you, and like she's failing, and it's not her fault. So go give her phone back. I will say a lot of people will joke with me on my stream. They'll be like, you should do an episode of Is This for Kids on like you and your brother's stream. And I'm like, I don't like, this is no secret. That's not like, Tyler's not going to be offended. My brother, Tyler Ninja, is not for kids. His content's not for kids. If you ask him if his content's for kids, he'll tell you no. He'll also tell you it's not his job to worry about what your kids are doing.
Yeah,
and that's
your job.
True. That's the parent's job. That's our job. My stream, even though I'm family friendly most of the time on there, is not for kids. A lot of families put me up and watch me on their big screen. And I'm like, okay, that's a choice you can make. You're not going to hear a ton of crazy stuff, but you might hear me make a parlay, or you know what I mean? Or you might hear me talk about like my top 5 favorite bourbons. And if you don't want your kid hearing that, that's on you. That's not on me. I'm not marketing my account to kids.
It's a question of exactly what you're saying. Like when you're watching my stream, you're letting your kid hang out with me as I am, whoever I am. So, and I'm not necessarily filtering for whether or not there are kids. Now, to be fair, I'm always the same in all contexts. I talk to children the same way I talk to adults, which is sometimes confusing for children. What you just said is the thing that I would recommend to parents most. And I recommend this with all different types of content. Always watch it on the big TV. The problem in our society is the siloing, where kids are staring at their phones alone in their room, being influenced by someone other than their family. If the person that they're watching stream, if they're willing to put it up on the big TV and risk mom walking into whatever it is that they're saying, or, you know, dad hearing whatever the content or the chat is saying, fine. That's probably an okay stream. If they're confident enough to put it up on the TV, then it's probably fine. But not only that, it gives you the opportunity to bond with your kids. And that's that. These are, you know, sort of shepherds that we're talking out through here. But like, this is the way that you can share in this with your kids. Twitch was actually a really great thing for my family. We had a lot of fun. We have a lot of people who watch the stream with their kids when I was out doing it. It was a great way to share with kids. It gave me the opportunity to know more about what my kids were interested in, what's pop culture relevant to kids, and stay active and with it in youth media or whatever. So I don't want to say don't turn it on at all, but this is one of those times. Big TV. The most important advice that I can give to parents.
I love that, yep.
Put it on the big TV.
Yep. And if your kids are like, you know, they want to be hip, want to be with it, their friends are watching Twitch streamers and they want to watch them, take the time to find family friendly ones that you can watch as a family or that you can have on the big screen, because sometimes it is hard for them to find the right one. Also, just a note that I want parents to know from this, because this is where I think you and I thrive, right? As like, we're experts on a lot of the stuff we're talking about. We're not film critics and we're not perfect parents, but we know what this world is right now. We're online, we understand it, we're trying our best to parent in this world. It is as easy as clicking a button to start watching inappropriate content on Twitch.
Yep.
It says, this is intended for mature audiences. Start watching. Click. And like that comes up on mine when I put 18 and up in my title, but not every kid reads the title. And my 18 and up is G-rated in most people's streams.
Yeah.
And so that's just one thing to know, that like there really is no filter that you can put on a Twitch channel. So it's just really important for parents to stay involved. And there's a lot of really, it sounds like I'm kind of maybe being like, oh, Twitch is really dangerous. It's a really great place. I love the people that I've met on there, but it is important for parents to just know how they can make sure their kids are being super safe online.
Yeah. One of the things that I would say also, a lot of kids these days are raised with how to be a good digital citizen. Like they know not to give out their addresses and things like that. Maybe still just maybe reiterate, make sure that they know that. But like one time, the first 2 years that I was streaming, my husband and I went to London, and we had a person in our chat who was 14 years old. So he was just barely old enough. He lived in Scotland, and he was like, hey, you guys should come visit me while you're here. This is my address. And he had been watching my chat for a while, and we had to tell him, like, buddy, we're 33 and 34 years old, like at the time. If we showed up at your house, you're 14. Like, that's weird, man.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of things in the news about people who don't have those boundaries where, like, I can chat with you in my chat. I can know that you're 14 and be like, hey, how was school today? Good to see you, blah, blah, blah. Like, just like you would talk to anybody out in the world. But kids very quickly develop parasocial relationships with streamers where they believe that they are good friends with them. And they might be. This is a true community, like you're saying. But those boundary lines get real fuzzy real fast. And I would just be aware of that. Like, you know, if you don't have a strong relationship with your kids and they find a streamer who is paying attention to them, there's a chance that they're going to encourage this grown person to come visit them. And that kid is totally normal and he's an adult now and he's fine. But like, just, it didn't occur to him that I was a strange adult woman he should not be inviting over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
This was kind of one of those topics that parents don't know a lot about. I hope that you stayed through to the end because this is a really important topic.
Go to isthisforkids.com. This is one of those episodes, Ruvi, that I will confidently say is bettering the world. And if thousands of people don't watch this and parents who don't know about Twitch, it's our fault for not sharing this correctly and to the right people. So share it with your friends. Isthisforkids.com. It's huge. Every single middle schooler and high schooler knows what Twitch is, watches Twitch streamers, or has friends that do. So it's important. Share it with them. We're available where you listen to all podcasts and on YouTube. Isthisforkids.com.
There is so much content out there for us to wade through as parents.
Jonathan Beard of Blevins.
I'm Katie, MrsRuvi. Let us help you decide.
Is this for kids?